You're listening to Saturday Morning Media. And now, back to our show. Here we go. Welcome once again to the Grand Cast. My name is Grant Baciocco. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading. Thank you for checking out this podcast. And a big shout out to all of our Patreon patrons who help make this show possible. But more about that later on. Well, if this podcast sounds different, that's because it is different. I'm currently sitting in a hotel room at the Neko State Park Lodge. I am in Georgia. Northern Georgia, about 2 hours north of Atlanta, and I'm working on a project called Mirth and Mischief, and it is an interesting project, and in the future, I will have plenty to say about that. I will say that it has its ups and its downs, and it seems that everything has sort of settled out and straightened out and flattened out all the rough patches, but we shall see, because there could be more rough patches on the horizon. But anyway, I just wanted to update you on a few things. I still have not had soda. I'm well over 100 days of not drinking soda. I got this little app. I believe it's called Every Day. I can't look right now because I'm recording this podcast on my iPad, and I'm recording the video of this podcast for the Patreon patrons on my phone. So I can't look up the exact name of the app, but I'll put it in the show notes. And it's this little tracker that you just, at the end of every day, it just pops up and says, did you do this habit or not do this habit? So it has been very successful. I have not had soda, and I have not even actually been tempted to have soda. So that's good. The other thing is I did so well with the soda that I decided that I would put a second thing on there, and that was to stop biting my fingernails. Maybe a little bit of a gross topic, but and that has worked very, very well. I am confident in both of those things, and they've been going very well. And I'm looking forward to adding a new habit when I feel that I can. I'm in here in Georgia, not drinking soda, not biting my fingernails. I am performing a puppet in a tree. It is going well. That aspect of it, the performing in the tree, it's not a real tree. It is a styrofoam foam tree. But it's fun, and it's improv, the kind of stuff that I like. It's the business part of show business that is the most stressful to me. And when things don't go smoothly, I'm not going to get too much into this, but when things don't go smoothly, it really, really stresses me out. And when seemingly simple things on the business end of things do not go as they should, that super stresses me out. And that's kind of some of that has been happening here for not any sort of malicious intent. I'm hoping. Jury might still be out on that, but just in terms of things falling through cracks. And when things fall through the cracks, I get really frustrated. We had our opening weekend this past weekend. We had a family and friends preview night that got cut short because it started to rain. And then we had our opening night, Friday night, that got cut short because it started to rain. And that was actually shut down because of tornado warnings and severe thunderstorms and all this other stuff. So that was shut down. And then Saturday night, they just completely canceled the show altogether because there was rain forecasted. And it was one of those things, too, where they canceled the show. And when showtime rolled around, there was no rain. And then there was eventually rain, but it just came a lot later. And the event certainly would have been cut short, but they canceled it. Then Sunday they have a family event of this event, and the that went great. That was a lot of fun. And I think I got into the groove of performing this character. I got to do this character on the news, the local Atlanta news, which was fun. So yeah, it's going along. The first weekend is behind us now. This is every weekend in May, so you'll be hearing this much later when it's released. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this goes, because while things have sort of smoothed out, as I said, there are still some possible icebergs ahead that could hit this ship, and we will tackle that when we come to it. Here's the other thing. I've never been to northern Georgia before, and there's not a lot around here. Now, I love a rural setting. Growing up in Oregon, there was rural things, but in Oregon, there were kind of like cities. So you would drive and there would be a lot of rural stuff and farmland and big empty fields and mountains and all that stuff. But then you would get to a city, and it may not be a big city. It may be a small city. But here, there are small cities, just tiny cities. And today, since I had a day off, I decided I was going to go see the new Thunderbolts movie. And the nearest movie theater was 35 minutes away. And the crazy thing is, when I drove out there, when I drove the 35 minutes to go to this movie theater, there's nothing around the movie theater. It is just literally a movie theater off of a 2-lane road with nothing around it. Like usually movie theater, it's part of a mall, or it's part of, there's food nearby or whatever. This is its own movie theater stuck right in the middle of nowhere. Now, maybe right over the mountain that was next to the movie theater, there was a city, and this is just on the outskirts, but boy, oh boy, there's a whole lot of nothing. The theater was very nice. There was hardly anybody there, and that's I went on a Monday afternoon at 4, and it was a matinee ticket, so it was only $8, which in California, Monday afternoon at 4, you'd still be paying full price. I don't know if there is such thing as a matinee. But so anyway, I went and saw the Thunderbolts. No spoilers. I liked it. And then I drove the 35 minutes back because there's nothing around here. The room that I'm in right now at the hotel, the Wi-Fi in this room is miserable. So I don't even know when I go to upload this episode. I don't even know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to find out how to do it. But that's not all what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about today is, there have been a lot of times where I have gone places that I've never been before, and sort of I've become attached to a song or attached to music when I go to that place. So, for example, the first time, I'm sure there are other examples of this, but I can think of 3 examples, including this current time right now. And the first example was in 2013, Puppet Up went to Toronto, Canada. And right before I went there, I downloaded the Neko Case album. Neko Case is a singer, if you've never heard of her, and I'll link to this album in the show notes. The worse things get, the harder I fight. The harder I fight, the more I love you, is the name of the album. And that I listened to that album like on repeat for the entire, I think we were in Toronto for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. But the entire time we were there, I was listening to that album, just nonstop, just repeat over and over and over again. And so, and it's funny because nowadays I really don't listen to a lot of Neko Case at all. I mean, it may come up when my iPhone is shuffled and all that kind of stuff, but for the most part, I don't really seek out and listen to it. But I listened to it nonstop back there in Toronto. And then the next thing was only a year later, 2014, when Puppet Up went to Australia. And when we went to Australia, the Oak Ridge Boys were releasing a live album called Boys Night Out. And they did, as a lot of musicians do nowadays, when they have a new album coming out, they release the one song as sort of a single, and so you can listen to it on iTunes or Spotify or whatever to get you hyped for the album. And the Oak Ridge Boys released the first song on the album, You're the One. And I am sure that Brian Clark, who was my roommate in Australia, got tired of hearing You're the One blasting out from my bedroom in Australia. And I think with both of these cases, they were an album, and in the Oak Ridge Boys case, a song that came out right as I was starting the trip. And I'm sure there are other examples. I'm sure there was something on the Mystery Science Theater tour. I'm sure there was something on the both Mystery Science Theater tours. I'm sure there were other Puppet Up songs, but those are the ones that I remember. And then flash forward now to Georgia in the year 2025, and my favorite band, the Beths, who I've talked about a million times, have released a song called Metal, which is sort of the first song off of this new batch of songs that they record. I would say off of the new album, but they haven't announced a new album yet, and they have in the past put out songs that don't wind up making it onto an album. So I don't want to say it's from the new album, but it's a song called Metal. And one thing I thought was interesting is in a recent podcast, maybe even the last podcast, I talked about staying up late to watch the Beths concert from Australia, and they played 4 new songs, and this new song that they've released, Metal, is not one of the 4 songs that they played. So I'm very interested in what that decision was and why. I'm sure when they're going to go on tour, they announced a tour at the end of this year. That when they announced this tour, that they're playing a whole bunch of new songs. But it's interesting that this song that is sort of maybe possibly the lead-off single, again, I don't know, is the song that they went with, and it's not one of the 4 new songs that they've played. And so that's just interesting to me. But Metal is a song that I've been listening to over and over again. And it's really, actually, the first couple days, there was so much going into getting the show up and running and the rehearsal and the puppeteer, the puppet and all this other stuff and the other puppets that were involved, that it was, I didn't get chances to listen to it all the way through. But now that the show is open, I've listened to it all the way through several times, and it's fantastic. I love it. It's a great song, and it's funny because I went to see Elizabeth Stokes of the Beths play a solo show in Los Angeles, and she played this song, and out of sort of the, 6 new songs that we've heard from the 4 from the best shows, and then she played 2 other ones that she had not played ever before, or that the Beths had not played ever before. From the 6 new songs, I don't know, I forget where I'm going with this, but it's just funny that this is the one, and I don't know, I completely lost my train of thought while I was trying to make sure I got the math right on all the songs. But anyway, this is a great song. I love the way the band sounds on it. The thing I like about the Beths a lot is their backing vocals are really great and they're unique. And it makes it, for me, so much fun to sing along with the backing vocals. A lot of times people, they like, bands and songs, and they sing along with the main lyrics. One of the main things I love about the Beths is singing along to their backing vocals, because their backing vocals are just a lot of fun to sing along to. So there you go, friends. That's all I wanted to talk about today. I'll be listening to Metal as we go along. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Stay tuned for more. My whole goal here is to completely do a podcast episode on my iPad from the beginning to the end, and figure out how to get it uploaded to Libsyn and all that stuff, and get it ready to go out completely from my iPad. It can be done. I have just never done it. But if you're hearing this, I made it happen. So that's going to do it for now. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for bearing with the different sort of sound to this episode, as I'm just recording on a microphone in my hotel room. And thanks for being here, and I will talk to you soon. Goodbye. This episode of the Grandcast was made possible by the Saturday Morning Media Patreon patrons who've gone to patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up a pledge for as little as $1 a month. Patrons at the behind-the-scenes level and above get access to a video of the recording of these podcast episodes. Big shout-out to all of our patrons, and a special shout-out to our patron producers, Eve Cunning, Kathy Crawford, Tony Urbano, Brandy, David Akers, Jeff Toro, Lee Thompson, Paul, Ricky Chavez, Scott Armstrong, and all the rest. If you would like to become a patron and receive episodes of the Grantcast before they are released, check out patreon.com/Saturday Morning Media and set up your monthly pledge today. And thank you for your support. This episode of the Grantcast is copyright 2025 Saturday Morning Media, Grant Baciocco, executive producer, all rights reserved. www.SaturdayMorningMedia.com. Here we go.
You've been listening to Saturday Morning Media. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.